want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for taking the time to listen. The pasuk in Kedoshim says, "Daber el kol adat bnei Yisrael v'amata alehem kedoshim tehiyu." You should be holy. Now, the word Kedoshim is very hard to define. Holy is not the right thing. It's more like distinct, to be different, to be kadosh, to be something special. We know that the coronavirus has had a deep effect on our entire way of thinking. We've been forced, by seeing everything that's happening around us, the entire world changing before our very eyes. Things that used to be important no longer hold the same worth. Life is so fleeting. So we have to reanalyze what's going on with the world. What is the world all about? We know we are not in control of anything, except for one thing. As our rabbis teach us in Masechet Berachot, Hakol b'dei shamayim chutz miryat shamayim. Everything's in the hands of heavens except for the fear of heaven. All we could control is our relationship with Hashem and how we work on ourselves. We've been forced to take stock and to analyze everything now. What am I working towards? Am I working towards this world or the next world? Is there something more? Is there something bigger? There's a Gemara in Berachot that says, if a person goes 7 days without a dream, he's called evil. It's on Daf Yud Daled. Very hard to understand such a Gemara. In fact, the Gaon Mevilna asked a question on this Gemara. He says, I don't understand. You go 7 days without a dream, you're evil? It's not in your control if you have a dream or not. And furthermore, what's with the 7 days? Let's just, if you go 10 days, 20 days, why 7? And he explains this Gemara so beautifully. If you go 7 days, meaning you go through the 6 days of creation and you go through a whole week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know what? You're in this world. You're putting all your effort into making money and making a living and building up and making a nice house. No problem. And then you go through a Shabbat where you realize that Hashem runs the world. And you don't now realize that this world is only like a dream. You missed the boat of life. A person has to know that this world is temporary. It's not the final stop. There's something called Olamhaba. At first glance, that seems a little depressing. I mean, everything I work for here is so temporary? And the answer is, it might seem depressing at first, but as the Mesillah Yesharim tells us, upon further reflection, you realize you have a piece of eternity in you. You have an everlasting soul. That's amazing. Imagine this was everything. So it's important for us to become a vessel for self-improvement, and our children need to see this. They need to see people that are working towards Olamhaba. I'm working on myself to become great, to become more humble, to become more kind, to become more charitable. You know why I'm doing all this? For Olamhaba. Because that's my connection. When I build my soul is a connection to the eternal. The Chazon was a great rabbi who lived in Bnei Brak, passed away in the 1950s. And he said something unbelievable. A human being, his brain starts as an infant, very small. But by the end of his life, after 120 years, his brain capacity, his knowledge base is huge. We stand up for any human being over 70. As the Gemara says, anyone over 70, it must be that miracles happen for him. But what's the point? You build up the brain and then the person dies? It almost sounds cruel. Yet an animal is born with the same brain when he's born till he dies. Behema is ba-ma. What's in it is what it is. That's a behema. But a human being, you work and you build and you become smart and you get experience and then it's over? He says this is the proof that there's Olamhaba. You're not building it for this world. Your mind is the eyeglasses of the soul. And when you build that up, you built up your Olamhaba. We have eternity. I once heard a beautiful mashal that I think could help us understand this, that what we do in this world and what we build up is what we have forever. And what our soul attains is ours forever. There was once a person, it's not a true story. He wanted to get a little tour of Gehenna, purgatory, and heaven. Gan Eden. And the angel took him on the tour. And he started first, he takes him to purgatory, hell. He's waiting for fire and gets there. What does he see? Beautiful tables. Food, gorgeous, waiters, drinks, everything you want. Beautiful. And then all these people come in to sit, well dressed. And they say, it's time to eat. And the people are trying to eat, but their arms are straight. They cannot bend their elbows. And they're trying to put the food in their mouth and they can't do it. And they're suffering in Gehenna. Whoa, this is heavy. Let me take you now to heaven. Gets to heaven, same scene, same exact thing. Same thing. Same food, same tables, the whole 9 yards. And then the people come out smiling. Their arms are stuck. He doesn't understand. What's the difference between Gehenna and heaven? They say, it's time to eat. And each person feeds the one across the table from him. The message is, if you attain in your soul the trait of giving, it's yours forever. And you can enjoy Olamhaba. That is what it's all about. This world is to attain all the good traits so that we could benefit in the next world forever and ever. I know that there's a lot going on and there's a lot of pain that people are experiencing. But knowing this gives us some solace. There was a great rabbi who lived in Brooklyn named Rabbi Avigdor Miller Zatzal. And he was a person who got this message and always worked towards getting that closeness to Hashem for Olamhaba. And he was in yeshiva, in Slobodka yeshiva in Europe when he was younger. And he says that one of the most important lines he ever heard was from his Rabbi, Rabbi Isaac Sher. And he wanted to do this and do that and change the world this way and that way and do everything. You know what his Rebbe told him? You want to do the greatest chesed for the world? Make a mensch, a person out of yourself. When you work on yourself and you build yourself up, not only are you going to get Olamhaba, but the people around you are going to benefit. They're going to see how happy you are, how growing you are. I remember one time I went to my Rebbe. I said, what should I do? Should I learn on Shabbat with the rabbi when I was much younger? Or should I teach my children, my little boy? He said, what's going to give you a greater spiritual lift? I said, learning with the rabbi. He says, so do that. Because when you fill up your cup, you will overflow. And that's so important. We have to take the message from what's happening now and become that example for our children of a person who is overflowing with excitement to work on himself, to work on self-improvement. And from that, they will get the message. They'll learn from our example, and they will also work on self-improvement and becoming someone who is a vessel and someone who could bring godliness to the world and be a ben Olamhaba. Shabbat Shalom.